Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my Divi Design Workflow. So I'll be going through the stages and also sharing with you some tips on what I do throughout the process. So without wasting a lot of time, let's dive in and let's get started. Today's tutorial is made possible by divicake.com. Check out their huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. The link is in the description below. So the first stage in my design workflow is the planning stage. So this is where I get to write the list of pages I'm going to have on my website initially, and also what sort of modules I'll be using, and even making notes of animations or any other features that I need on the website. So once this stage is complete, the next stage is now the sitemap. So this is where I get to visually see how these pages are going to connect together and which pages specifically link to what pages. Now this stage may be overlooked, but this stage is very, very important because it gives you a visual view of how things are going to link on your page. Now this is mostly used when you have situations where a website has, let's say, 30, 40 pages. But if you're just dealing with, let's say, a 5-page website, this stage may not be necessary. Now, before we used to move on to the stage where we get to wireframe the website. Now, right now, with the way Divi is laid out, this stage may not be necessary. The reason is already Divi has column structures and it has everything that you need in order for you to lay out your website the way you want it. So this stage may not be necessary. But I mean, if you prefer working that way, yes, you can go create a wireframe. But in my opinion, this is an extra stage which we don't necessarily need. Okay, so now that we have our sitemap, the next stage now is to decide whether you're going to design your website from scratch or you want to use pre-made layouts. Each has advantages. So if you want to build it from scratch, this is like custom-made design that you actually make, you build yourself. Now, the drawbacks to that is this solution here takes you more time to make sure that everything is looking the way you want. So it's up to you. This is a stage that, this is the part that you can go with. But the other option here is the pre-made layouts. Now, recently, Divi has rolled out new pre-made layouts, which can be found on your actual Divi install. Now, I think this is a fantastic way of getting started with designing your website because this gives you like the initial pages, and some of these layout packs are brilliant because they have more than 5 pages. So these are the sort of like page styles which you can get to start with from the ground up. So this saves you a lot of time, and also these layouts are professionally designed, professionally made. So all you have to do is to go in and change the images on these pre-made layouts. Now, talking about images, the next stage now is very important because this is where now we get to replace all these images that you have on your pre-made website. Now, of course, if you are designing your website from scratch, you are going to need some images and graphics as well. So there are several places where you can get your images. Now, you can either take the images yourself using your own camera. Now, one thing to note here is these images that we take using our cameras are huge. Okay, so if you use them straight onto your website, these will take a lot of space, and as a result, they make your website load really, really slow. Now, don't get me wrong, this is how I used to do it before. I used to be very lazy. I'll just take a picture off of the internet and just add it onto the website. Now, let me show you something very interesting here, because this is a stage which I think a lot of people or a lot of designers miss. And as I mentioned, I also missed this stage as well. And this stage is where you get to download the images that you use on your website. And as I mentioned, most people just use those images straight from the royalty-free website or straight from the camera. Now, this is a no-no. There are several reasons to this. First of all, you need to make sure that your images are optimized. Now, let me show you what I mean by this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open an image which I downloaded from Pixabay. Right, so this is the image here. So I'm going to open this with Photoshop. Okay, so my image now is loaded into Photoshop. Now, when we look at this, at first glance, it looks like nothing is wrong with this image. It's fine, it's perfect. We can use it as it is. The problem is this image is way too big. So let me show you what I mean by that. So now if I pretend as if I'm saving this image for for web, you can see here that this image is 2.5 megabytes. So this is quite big. Okay, and also here we can see that it shows the download speed as well. So if you're using a 1 megabit per second speed, this will take 27 seconds to download. Now, if you have, say, 10 of these images that you have on your website, sometimes maybe even more. These are cases where you have a blog, for example, and each blog has its featured image. This time accumulates and makes your website really, really slow. So first of all, if you look at the dimensions here, this is 3000 by 2000. Now, there's no way we're going to use this image this big. This is way too much. And also here, the quality is set to 100%. So ideally what you want to do is to resize this image first, and then you want to customize here and just make sure you bring down the quality a little bit. So let me just show you quickly what I do. So first of all, I want to start off by cropping this image. Okay, so I could go with this. I think this is much better. So I'll go with that crop. Now there's several ways you can crop your images. You can use the rule of thirds. You can, and also the options are right here. In fact, let me show you where they are. So over here, you can choose the grid, the rule of thirds, the golden ratio, and so on. Right, so I'm happy with this crop. So the next stage now is to save this for the web. So I'm going to save this. And then over here, the width is 2000. So I may even want to reduce this a little bit, maybe 1920, like that. And now the good thing is the height is also adjusted automatically, which is great. Now, here's the thing. On the top here, we see that the quality is set to 100. Now, down here, we notice that our download per seconds have decreased a lot. Now we're down to 15 seconds. Now, we can still improve this by coming over here and reducing this quality to about even 80. Now we can see here in the image that this hasn't dramatically reduced the quality of our image. It's looking great, but now I've reduced this down to 7 seconds just by bringing down the quality here from 100 to 80%. So I'll just bring this back. So right now it's on 14. If I bring it back to about 80, okay, this comes down to 7. Now you have to keep an eye on this. So you can do a 2-up if you wanted to, so you can see the original versus your optimized image. So you can see here that there isn't much of a difference that you can see with your eye. But let's just bring this down a bit and let's see how bad it gets when I really get down. We don't really see, a massive difference, but to be on the safe side, what I normally do is I leave it at about 80 or even 75, like that. Okay, so now we're down to 6 seconds. So now our image is optimized for the web. So all I have to do now is to save, and I choose a folder where I can save this image. So what we've done here is we have gone ahead and optimized an image which would have been used as it is straight from your royalty-free image website or straight from your camera. And this is one of the main things that you need to avoid when you're building your website. Photoshop is very important in your design workflow because you have the ability to compose the image. You can crop it. You can optimize it for the web, where I've just shown you how to do, and you can also stylize it. So let's say you want a specific sort of like a style to your design. Maybe it's a sepia tone that you want throughout your whole website. This is where now Photoshop will enable you to do that for all your images that you design. And also if you want to add some graphics to your images, it makes it easier for you to add those graphics. Now, if you want to test your website right now and see how fast it is, there's a service called Pingdom, which you just add your URL and you can test and see how fast your website is and how optimized it is. So it's a very good tool. You may want to go and check this out. And if you haven't optimized your images, you may actually see that this is the issue that you have with your images. So if you're just getting started and you'd like to learn how to use Photoshop for web design, I have a course which has a fantastic discount. Now, this course is very important because it covers all those things that I've just spoken to and even more. So it goes into graphic design, typography, the composition. Now, this course is for you if you want to make your websites look professional, or you want your website to load faster. And also you want tips on how to create banner ads and also to master Photoshop skills. Now, these are skills which work hand in hand with your with your web design skills. In fact, even specifically with Divi as well. So this course normally costs $97. So right now I have a discount, so it's going for $47. So as soon as you click on buy now, that offer is there. Now I'll be increasing this price very soon because I'll be adding even more videos onto this course. So you need to hurry and make sure you get that. Now, before I leave this page, I just want to go quickly and just show you what is covered in this course. So as you can see, we go through the basics of how Photoshop works, because as you know, Photoshop is a massive program. I mean, it says so much in it. So what I do is I focus on the things that you need as a web designer to cover those areas. Next, I also show you some keyboard shortcuts. Now, this enables you to work really, really fast in Photoshop, and also where to find great images on the web. I also show you how to open images in Photoshop, because there's several ways to open your images in Photoshop. And also I talk about the important file types, and also how to make your photos look awesome in very few steps. So sometimes you may take a picture with your phone or your camera, and sometimes there may be a color cast, or maybe the lighting is not great. I show you how to fix those images before you add them onto your website, because making your images look professional is very, very important. I also go through how to crop your images using the rule of thirds, and this is what the professionals use. And then I also go into a bit of retouching your photos. So let's say you have some issues with the photo which you want to quickly fix. I also show you how to do that. So as you can see, this course covers quite a lot of things in a simple step-by-step process. So go ahead and check out this. I will leave the link to that in the show notes below. Today's tutorial is made possible by divicake.com. Check out their huge selection of Divi themes, layouts, and plugins. The link is in the description below. So that does it for today's video. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to click the bell notification when you subscribe. By doing so, you'll be notified when I post new videos. And also do share your Divi design workflows. It's interesting to obviously know how you design your website. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.